You are Locked On Lakers POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles, on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, there's a lot to talk about today as the Lakers unfortunately lose 116-113. Minnesota takes a 3-1 series advantage. The game starts off with LeBron is almost perfect to start the game. Luka takes over in the third quarter, but Minnesota takes advantage of a tired Lakers team in the fourth. We talk about it all coming up on the Lakers POSTCAST, on the Locked On Lakers POSTCAST. So here we are talking Laker basketball with you. By the way, these shows can be heard anywhere you get your podcast. My name is Dave Palet. Of course, you can follow me on social media. Many have been with me for the entire season. But at the same time, now that we're in the postseason, I know we have some new people joining us. My background is I'm a 30-year-plus broadcaster in Southern California and covered the Lakers firsthand from 93 to 2005. Had the good years, the years when we actually won championships. I had the Kobe, Shaq years. So at the same time, want to see this Laker team, this franchise rebound and chase that 18th championship. And I was hoping it would be this year. Right now, the Lakers' backs are against the wall. They are down 3-1 against Minnesota. And the Lakers are looking at a situation where they get a couple days off before the series returns to Los Angeles. And they will try and stay alive on Wednesday from crypto. Again, Lakers lose tonight, 116-113. Very frustrating because the Lakers did most things very, very well. And overall, when you look at why the Lakers lost, I think you can point the finger in a couple different directions. But basically, people are going to look at the stars of the game. And I'll tell you right now what people should be talking about.
This is what you'll be talking about.
I think most people nationally are going to sit there and look at it from a broad point of view, and they're going to point the finger and they're going to look at guys in the box score. And that's the lazy way of doing this, of looking at the box score. Because if you look at the box score for the Lakers, you saw that Luka had 38. You saw that LeBron had 27. You saw Rui with 23. Even though Austin Reaves didn't score for the longest time, he still finished with 17. I tell you where you're going to point the finger of where you should be talking about is what is going on with J.J. Redick and his team coming off the bench. Here's a Laker team that went to Minnesota. So they traveled from L.A. to Minnesota for Game 3. They lose Game 3. And then the Lakers have less than 48 hours rest by playing an afternoon game. And the Lakers don't get any production from their bench. As a matter of fact, they didn't ask for any production from their bench. Dorian Finney-Smith was the only bench player that played real minutes today. Dorian Finney-Smith played 41 minutes. That's a lot for a bench player. Basically, Jackson Hayes is a guy that's there for the tip-off, catches his one lob, and then we'll see you later, Jackson. We'll see you next game. You can untie your shoes. So the Lakers basically went with 5 guys to finish this game. That is asking a lot, considering one guy's in his 40s and your other superstar was sick as a dog less than 48 hours ago. So what's the plan? And if I'm Rob Pelinka, I'm like, I'm giving you a bunch of pieces here, JJ. And the whole idea was to strengthen this bench and to give you a team that can finally shoot and have multiple guys that can shoot 3-pointers, but you don't use them. You don't use them. And so it becomes extremely frustrating that if I'm the general manager, I'm thinking I busted my tail to turn this whole roster upside down and did a fantastic job doing it. But at the same time, you aren't using the weapons I gave you. So Jared Vanderbilt, who's a defensive specialist, there's nothing there offensively. You're not going to get any offense from him. So it goes back to the guys that we're already tired. When you're looking at the amount of minutes that our starters are playing, Rui, 41, LeBron, 46, Luka, 46, Austin Reaves, 35, and Dorian Finney-Smith, 41. What do you think is going to happen? We're going to run out of gas. And even at the end of the game, if Austin Reaves hits that 3-pointer and it goes to overtime, 116-116, you know what's going to happen? The Lakers are going to run out of gas and get blown out in overtime. They have no chance of winning and being successful for actually a serious stretch by playing this kind of basketball. It is frustrating to watch. It seemed like that was the magic word on the last show, but the Lakers can say, hey, we went all in because we couldn't afford to go down 3-1. You went all in with all 5 guys and you ran out of gas. The Wolves are much younger than what the Lakers are when you have LeBron's average age of being 40 out there. You're asking a lot from LeBron. And I don't think you can point the finger at LeBron, but there are going to be some national guys that will do it first thing tomorrow morning. LeBron was outstanding today. Outstanding. 27 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists. LeBron was great today. At the same time, J.J. Redick afraid to use his bench. Afraid to use his bench when you sit there and you look at the production that the Wolves get. when you get 12 from Naz Reid. The Bulls ended up with 25 bench points today compared to 6. So they outscored the Lakers by 19 bench points. How does that possibly happen? How is that acceptable basketball? So I want to get your comments as well of what you think. But right now, if you're getting on that plane and you're the Lakers and you're thinking, what do we have to do to be different? Man, I tell you what, as crazy as it sounds, tomorrow's a day where it's not an active practice day. These guys have to rest their bodies and hope that their bodies bounce back for game 5. Because, man, you have asked a lot from this team in less than 48 hours to sit there and run it out. And it is physical. We talk about this all the time. People want to say, oh, the NBA is not physical the way it used to be in the 90s. Were you watching? Were you looking at the replays? Were you looking at the elbows? Were you looking at the body weight of guys falling on LeBron, guys falling on Austin Reaves? It's been this way for a while. And if you're looking at the postseason, as we've talked about, it's only a matter of time before the NBA gets what they don't want. And that's when fights start happening. The referees have to be a little bit stronger with their whistles. By the way, the call at the very end that gave Anthony Edwards the chance to shoot those free throws, that was weak. What happened to the old hands part of the ball? I understand that's home court advantage, but that's LeBron James. That's the superstar, the face of the NBA, and has been for 20 years. And it's Anthony Edwards. You can overturn that, but the Lakers can't get the ones they overturn, or the kick ball that all of a sudden nobody sees. It's amazing. It's weak. It's amazing that things don't go where more of a fair standpoint. The NBA has to do a better job. I can't believe they now have 3 referees on the floor, where back in the day they only had 2, and the calls seem like they're worse. Seem like there are more guys with blindfolds on than ever before. So Lakers lose. I want to hear your comments as well as far as how this worked out, and we're going to get to a lot in the show on how this went. I want to start off with, first of all, with LeBron James today, because LeBron James understood the assignment. He understood that, look, it's gonna fall on me. I don't know what Luka's gonna have, how he's gonna feel, how his body's gonna react to not doing well. Lakers jumped out to a 30-28 lead after 1, and LeBron was absolutely outstanding. Almost played perfect basketball. He made the first 4 shots from the field. He made the first 2 3-point shots. He was 9 of 10 from the free throw line. LeBron was great. Forget about the age, 40. If he was 24, that's outstanding. So LeBron did an outstanding job, and yet you're going to run into people that are going to trash LeBron tomorrow and say, you know, guys like LeBron have to step up and you need more. We didn't even get into the block shots. He was absolutely outstanding. And Austin Reaves, very disappointing in the first half, and I think you could have pointed fingers there, but he came alive. He gave you 0 points in 11 minutes, only shot the ball twice, missed both of those. But Austin Reaves still finished in double digits and overall played a much better game. I just think the Lakers ran out of gas. I think almost any team in the NBA would run out of gas in a situation like that and the way things were moving today. And so very frustrating. Again, we'll get to your comments as well. My name is Dave Palet. Lakers lose 116-113. Let's get to a couple spots, and we'll get right back to the talk. I want to mention the people over at FanDuel. Look, the NBA playoffs almost here, and FanDuel has given new customers an incredible way to get into action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Now, look, I love how FanDuel makes betting so easy, whether it's picking my favorite teams or diving into player props, from 3-pointers to steals to assists. FanDuel has so many ways to bet your favorite player props. Plus, after the game tips off, you can even combine your live prop bets with same game parlays. A chance to win really big right there. So don't miss out on the action. It's FanDuel.com. Claim your $250 in bonus bets today. Again, that's FanDuel.com to claim your $250 in bonus bets today. Also, of course, when we talk about Laker basketball and we talk about moving forward and the postseason, and if the Lakers are here or they aren't here, or if you're sitting there and you're interested in what's going on in other sports, as the Dodgers had a big win today, there's always a way to sit there and get into all the action as well. And you don't want to forget the people, of course, over at PrizePicks. Look, PrizePicks is what everybody's talking about right now in Southern California. Basketball and hockey playoffs are here, and there's no better way in time to turn your sports knowledge into real cash with PrizePicks, the top destination for daily fantasy action. PrizePicks makes it simple. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player projections, and you're in. It's easy. You can even mix and match your players across basketball, hockey, baseball, and more of a shot to win up to $2,000 times your cash. Don't forget, PrizePicks is what everybody's talking about, especially right now with the NBA playoffs. Right now, you can decide, hey, is LeBron James going to get more than 25 points tonight? Is Luka going to get more than 8 assists? You can turn your playoff hot takes into tickets to win big. So that's easy. It's PrizePicks. It's what everybody's talking about. Don't forget about Taco Tuesday. And also don't forget about Flex Friday promos as well, as you can value each week and you can win and get paid very fast, sometimes in as little as 15 minutes. So download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after your play your first $5 lineup. That's the code again, is LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, don't forget, run your game. All right, so Laker basketball, unfortunately, Lakers fall short. Lakers lose 116-113, back in action on Wednesday. Very frustrating for the fact we did not see that this Laker team would be down 3-1, and that's exactly where the Lakers are after 4. So it is very, very, very disappointing. So Craig, nice to see you. Craig says Reaves and Luka choked. Craig, I don't think so much they choked as far as they were exhausted. There's nothing left in your legs. I mean, we all know what it's like to sit there and play basketball. Every one of us has picked up a basketball and run the court. And if you stay out there long enough, you realize your shot's not going to fall because there's nothing left in your legs. And then Craig says the refs make questionable calls. Agree, and so it becomes frustrating. It becomes frustrating, and you understand where the team is at. I'm looking at some of you guys talk about the Lakers roster and where the Laker roster is. Look, here's the trade-off. You got rid of Anthony Davis for Luka. At the same time, I think we would make that deal 9 times out of 10. I know I would. And when you see, I'm flipping around on social media today and I'm watching the Lakers on one TV and I'm watching the Dodgers on another, and I see Tyler Glasnow go down, and someone immediately puts out a meme of taking off Tyler Glasnow's face, and underneath the mask, it's Anthony Davis. You couldn't rely on Anthony Davis. I hate to say it. I was an Anthony Davis fan, but every time he went down, you were concerned that Anthony Davis wasn't getting up, and how many games was he going to miss? Luka's going to be a star for the next 10 years. You don't want to be one of those Maverick fans that sat there and said, oh, if it wasn't for Luka, if he was in better shape, this and that. Look, the guy had the stomach flu just 48 hours ago, and Luka was falling apart. Luka came back and had a tremendous game. It's hard for me to say guys are choking when they score 38 points in 46 minutes. At the same time, I sit there and I look at Austin Reaves, and you can blame him for doing nothing in the first half. But at the same time, you got to get him the ball. Getting 2 shots off and having 0 points, that's what we've been talking about for the longest time. Let's get these guys involved early. I'm curious to know what JJ Redick does on Wednesday, meaning this bench, because you cannot go throughout the series or throughout the rest of the playoffs by saying we're going to win this thing with just 5 guys. Everybody knows you need 7 to 8 minimum to run a real NBA team, especially in the postseason. And so there are guys on the bench that can shoot, guys you don't want to use. I'm going to bring up Dalton Knecht almost every single show, because when you need a guy with fresh legs that can still shoot threes, Dalton Knecht's a guy that, guess what, Minnesota's not going to focus on because he's never in the game. When you look at Minnesota, and people were saying on Minnesota social media, the Lakers want this game more. Well, that's not the way it worked out. You know who wanted this game? Julius Randle. For the second game in a row, Julius Randle came out on fire. Julius Randle finished with 25 points tonight. Julius Randle, former Laker, trying to prove his worth. You know how many people in Minnesota were hoping that the Wolves were going to trade Julius Randle before the trade deadline, thought it was a terrible deal they made with the Knicks? Right now, they love Julius Randle. The one thing the Lakers did well, they held Jaden McDaniels in check today, held him to 16 points. Jaden McDaniels has torched the Lakers for 2 of these games so far. Lakers held him in check. It was Anthony Edwards, though, the 43 points in 44 minutes. Finally, it looked like LeBron was up to the challenge on that, because we've been talking about it for a long time. The announcers have talked about it. Anthony Edwards is looking, as we hear the word legacy a lot because of Shedeur this week, that Anthony Edwards is looking at his legacy. What is going to be his reputation for the remainder of his career? And he wants to take the crown from the king. And Anthony Edwards has gone after LeBron and competed against LeBron. And Anthony Edwards was up for the challenge today. When they needed him most, Anthony Edwards in 44 minutes had 43 points. So for the Lakers, it's not where we want to be. The challenge at the end of the game, I'm looking at Jimmy here says no challenge at the end of the game. Lakers were out of challenges. Lakers wasted theirs early, actually. And so the Lakers couldn't challenge anything. I agree with you guys. Lakers Basically, there are questionable calls against them. But again, that's home court advantage. I also believe home court advantage disappears when you're supposed to have a superstar, whether that's a Magic Johnson, a Larry Bird, a Michael Jordan, a LeBron James, that you should have a chance to sit there and go, it's different when a guy who has carried your league, a guy who's brought your ratings to a whole nother level, that LeBron James should get different calls, but he doesn't. Seems like LeBron James gets hit all the time. By the way, the cheap shot in Rudy Gobert was ridiculous. That right there would forget about the flagrant two. Rudy Gobert should have been ejected from that game. Anytime you go above the neck, there's no need for that. I mean, we've seen all instances, whether it's basketball, whether it's baseball, whether it's boxing, you get hit like that from behind, man, you're looking for serious damage. You're lucky LeBron in the face of the NBA is able to continue in that game. Rudy Gobert is a punk. And I don't think there's a Laker fan out there that wouldn't say it. And guess what? There are Wolves fans and Jazz fans out there that would say it. Donovan Mitchell would say it. One of the most disliked guys in the history of this league, cheap shot, elbow to the back of the head, should have been an automatic ejection. I bet you LeBron would tell you he'd rather be slapped in the back of the head or punched in the back of the head than taking an elbow from a guy that's almost 300 pounds, throwing an elbow. That was not a basketball play. Absolutely ridiculous. I agree with you guys. Not trusting the bench is a problem, and I don't think it's good for team chemistry either. I think there are a lot of guys on this team right now getting dressed or getting ready to get on that plane. They're going, what the heck's going on here? How are you sitting there not trusting everyone on this bench? Guys you have trusted the entire year that all of a sudden are out of the rotation. I'm not saying you use everyone to use in the rotation, but you got to go with 7 or 8 guys that have to give you an opportunity to give your stars a little bit of a rest. There was nothing left. Those guys had jelly legs by the time that thing was over. And so, man, JJ Redick, I hate to say it, you did a fantastic job as a rookie coach. Very disappointing to see the way you let that game play out today. And for Laker fans, that was unacceptable. Let's get to the Locked On Player of the Game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Player of the game. Look, I'd love it to give it to a Laker. As I tell you all the time, I hate giving it to someone on the other team. I thought this was going to be an easy mark. It was going to be LeBron the way he started out. LeBron finished with 27 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, was ridiculously good today. Played 46 minutes, did everything you could possibly ask, left it all out on the court. Luka battling back from being sick in less than 48 hours, 38 points in 46 minutes for him. One thing about Luka, numbers were down, rebounds. If you notice, Luka is a guy that always gives you close to triple-double numbers. Luka today only had 1 rebound, only had 2 assists. At the same time, he had 4 turnovers. His 38 points were big, but Luka wasn't traditional Luka, okay? Player of the game, it has to go to Minnesota's Anthony Edwards, as much as that pains me to say. Edwards stepped up when the Wolves needed him most. His 43 points in 44 minutes were outstanding. Hit big shots, hit big free throws. And the player of the game has to be Anthony Edwards. So Anthony Edwards, fantastic job from him. Again, Lakers down 3-1 in this series. They're going to need everything they can to do it. Look, the Lakers have done this before. LeBron James has done this before. I think we feel the Lakers are the better team. That's why they had home court advantage. That's why they're the higher seed throughout. The Lakers, again, can win this series. 1 game at a time, right? You're not going to win all 3 in one day. 1 game at a time, do the right things. Let's get some rest in. Let's get healthy, and let's get ready to go and do this again on Wednesday. 7 o'clock tip-off from Crypto. Hope you guys join me after Game 5. Hope we're talking about a win, but I thank you so much for joining me on a Sunday, and let's go Lakers. Let's win this thing. Let's extend this season all the way through Game 7. Have a good afternoon, everybody.